The scoring champ from the top against Marion. Durant, pull-up jumper, up the rim, and
Limitless Range.
This is the Limitless Range podcast. I am your host, Corey Chandler, and I am here today with our co-host, Petey Podlow, our producer, Dougie Fresh, and then we also got a Limitless Range writer, Dan Morris, a.k.a. DZ, in the house. As always, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at One Limitless Range. You can catch us on our website, limitlessrangepodcast.com, or as usual, you can always reach us by phone at 360-356-1699. What's going on, fellas? Pete, how's your week going, my man?
It's going good, bro. Just chilling, just enjoying life.
Yeah, Vice President chilling again. What about you, DZ? How you been, brother? It's good having you back on.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on here, guys. We were supposed to do this last week.
Yeah.
So I think we're all chomping at the bit to get after this a little bit here.
Feels like it's been a month.
Feels like a long time. Dougie, what about you? How you been, man?
Just exactly that. I'm glad to be back here, you know.
Yeah, we took a week off. As if you follow us on social media, you've seen we've kind of been stuck in a snowstorm. So if you don't have four-wheel drive, it's kind of hard to get around where we live here. But yeah, we missed a lot of great content, so we're just excited to jump into this. We got a couple cool things going on. Obviously, you know, a couple weeks back, we handed out our first giveaway, free jersey to Kyle. You know, congrats again. His jersey's on the way. You know, keep listening for, you know, other giveaways that we'll have, you know, in the future. But you know, really, we're just, you know, appreciative of all the followers we got going on, but I really want to challenge everybody to really start helping us spread the word. So if you've been listening to us, instead of just listening and not only just writing into us, but start tagging some NBA friends. You know, we really need you guys to really help us connect with some of the NBA community and start passing it out there. So if we got some LeBron content, you got some LeBron friends, start tagging some of your LeBron fans. If we're talking about Towns and you got some friends in Minnesota, tag them so they can get in with us. You know, we're going to talk about, obviously, LeBron today. You know, possibilities. He missed the playoffs. Is he not? You know the answer to that. Zion's injury, you know, been a couple weeks now, but we're going to jump into that. Dan, as I talked about, has hooked us up with some great articles. You know, you need to jump on our website, look at his articles, let us know, let him know what he thinks or what you guys think of his content, MVP race, and obviously we got some rant stuff going on today. So let's jump into what I love to talk about the most, hating on LeBron James. Pete, what do you think, man? A loss last night to Phoenix now has them at 30-33. What's your thoughts, man? Is this team making the playoffs?
Nah, bro. Like, I think LeBron's choking. It's, you know, the toxic environment, everything. It's just all, you can see it all unfolding. I've been preaching this for years. As long as you've known me, bro. We, back in the day in our fantasy drafts at my house, about the East-West and the you know, how big of a difference it is. And now we're seeing it firsthand. First time in the West, he's not even going to make the playoffs. I don't want to hear about injury. I don't want to hear about none of that. It doesn't matter. You know how many times KD and Westbrook got hurt? There were, you know, no one wrote excuses for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens all the time. Now we're seeing that he can't lead his team in the West. And a lot of it's because of all his problems he creates.
Right.
There was no issues there. You know what I'm saying? Like, when, you know, you got these young kids. Ingram's balling. Go look at the numbers. And he kept bringing up young kids not producing or not, you know, not coming through. They don't know how to handle the moment. Well, bro, Kuzma and Ingram have been playing very well. If you go look at the win shares and all that stuff, they're the ones performing during this stretch. So it's not the young kids. You can't blame them. And if you want to say, he said that they don't have, you know, championship experience, they don't know this stuff. Bro, all the guys on his roster have beat him for rings. You know, Tyson Chandler's beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rondo's beat him in the playoffs. JaVale McGee's got 2 rings on him. So I really don't understand this whole take of they don't have championship experience. Like, get out of here, bro. You're just making excuses. Always looking for someone to blame. You know, I can't stand LeBron James. He's just a finger pointer. He's the biggest finger pointer of all time. That's what he loves to do.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean,
Obviously,
I don't know.
you know,
I can go on and on.
Pete and I, we know Pete can go on about LeBron James. DZ, I know you've always kind of been, you know, in the middle. I feel like you're not quite on the spectrum of hatred as Pete and I are on LeBron. What's your take on this, man? Is this group making the playoffs?
I actually called it last week that they were. I mean, it's tough. I bet against LeBron before, and I've been burnt too many times, but this is looking real ugly right here. Coming up this week, they got 3 playoff teams. They got the Clippers. Obviously, that's a huge game. You have to win that one. And you talked about it off the record. Yeah. They're going to be 5.5 games back if they don't win that game. Then they got Denver and they got Boston. And then they go on this crazy East Coast trip where they have to play Toronto and Milwaukee. Time's running out, guys.
Dang.
This is getting scary. This is unseen territory for LeBron and for the fans of the NBA. This is I don't think they're going to get it done, Doug. I just don't think they're going to get it done.
Wow. Dougie Fresh, our producer, as he's wearing a Los Angeles Lakers shirt, as I can see from here, ugly as hell. What's your opinion on this, my man? Is your group? I know all year you've been kind of saying I still think they're going to squeeze into the 8th seed. What's your opinion? Has that changed?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that it looks like if LeBron hadn't missed a fucking month, then we would have been around there or something. So it kind of holds true. I just didn't think they were going to be as good as other people were saying. But right now, when they need to pick it up and do something, and after a month of missing LeBron, they still had a chance to make the playoffs, and they're just throwing it away. Like, I wish you hadn't even turned this over to me right now. I'm so livid with the Lakers and LeBron. It's crazy. And I shouldn't have got my hopes up. I mean, I wasn't going to. I was thinking, let's make the playoffs this year. We have LeBron. Let's make the playoffs. Right. That's all I wanted. And now they can't even do that.
Well, maybe he needs to activate.
Jesus
maybe
Christ.
He needs to activate playoff mode.
Yeah. No, and then it's like he's 50% playoff mode because there's no defense from LeBron. And the defense is trash. Walton's offense is trash. They don't look like they're trying. And then they had this chance to get into the playoffs if they go on a run, and they lose all of the easy games. And now they have like the toughest schedule in the league left over. It's stupid. I don't want to keep going on about it.
So as your
you
prediction
don't want to hear it
right now, yes or no, they missing or making the playoffs?
No, they're missing the playoffs now.
Okay.
They just lost to Memphis twice. And they just lost to the Suns. I don't see it happening.
No?
I mean, I'll be fantastically happy. I'll rub it in your face and totally turn around and act like I didn't say it.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I can. It's sports. I don't care. No.
I called on the pod last week that they're missing the playoffs, but I told you they were making the playoffs.
No, I won't say I told you they're making it. I'll say,
Trey.
I'll say I'm happy. I'm happy. But I don't think it's happening. I'm pissed.
What you got, Corey?
Yeah,
I know you want to spit something in.
I mean, you guys know my take on this. I've been saying this since the first podcast, second podcast, third podcast. In our group chat, I did say, man, maybe they are going to prove me wrong. I thought, as DZ said, I've bet against LeBron a lot too. I thought a few years back the Pacers were going to be able to take him out. I picked last year when he was down to Boston. I said, Boston can take him out. I love voting against this guy, and it is because, I'm a little bit biased. But, okay, a lot biased. Doug's laughing over here. But I've said this from the beginning, man. This team is just not constructed the right way. And the funniest part about it is the same dudes that were coming at me earlier, laughing at me for not picking the playoffs, not picking them to make the playoffs, because I said they don't have shooters. They have young guys that now have to play in a LeBron system. It's going to be tough to play with this dude. I've been saying it since one of the first pods, and guys are like, dude, you're crazy, man. LeBron ain't missing the playoffs. And now that he's about to miss the playoffs, how is it that they're able to flip it where they're like, I kind of think LeBron's smart. I think he might be missing it on purpose. You know what? He's got low IQ guys. Guys, this is what doesn't make sense to me. As you say, guys like Nate and some of the guys on our group chat, but even other friends that I have that are LeBron fans. I feel like at the beginning of the year, you guys said, this group can make it with LeBron. They got enough to make it at least. I pick them to 4 seed. I pick them to maybe go to the Western Conference Finals. Dude, you can't say they had enough back then, and when they have the same roster, actually they added Tyson Chandler. You can't now say, no, this team's low IQ. They don't have enough guys to make it. They had the same guys on their team back then as they do now. Yeah. So you got to own it and say you were wrong and say, you know what? I was wrong. They didn't have enough guys to make it. You don't get to now say, give LeBron an scapegoat and say he doesn't have enough because you thought he did have enough, and he doesn't.
Well, I mean,
for it, Dougie.
in a way, I mean, I agree with you on that stuff, though. Oh,
No, go ahead.
yeah, because that's why I was thinking, yeah, let's make the playoffs. There'll be a 7 or 8 seed or something like that. I said 7 seed. I was trying to lock it in at the beginning of the season with you.
Yep.
But because of this weird fucking team that they made, where it's like, yeah, they called it the meme team. You know, it's Lance and JaVale. It's like, well, this team doesn't look like it's going to work unless they can pull just fast break 48 minutes all season long. Could be cool, but they're not going to be that great. And I argued the same way at the beginning of the season with people. Bill Simmons said, he's like, I don't know. This team might end up being right behind the Warriors as the 2 seed. He said that at one point near the beginning of the season. And I was like, that's crazy. There's no way. It's way too hard in the West. This team looks weird as shit.
So you're going on
And,
record
like-
saying our prediction on Limitless Range podcast was better than Bill Simmons' prediction.
Oh, always.
Oh, I'm just saying.
We'll get him on the show.
There's-
but
it's- no, it's
but
a
either
great
way, it's like, and I'm totally with you on that, where it's like, I looked at it, being like, well, no, they can't be that good. They're not even put together to be that good. They've got a bunch of guys. It should be fun. They're all on 1-year contracts. Let's make the playoffs and go from there. And then figure it out next year too.
No, Doug,
but then,
do you remember we had the
as soon as they
conversation-
win 20 games, and everyone's like, "Man,
You're
this team
stealing
would be
all
really
our points,
great."
Dougie. You're stealing all our points.
think
right
That's
there.
my fucking team.
I think Doug's on the wrong. Doug's
Go
on
for
the
it,
wrong
Pete.
track, in my opinion, because it's 2 different arguments here. You know, Doug's arguing the case that he was debates on if they could win a championship. Your
Yeah.
bold prediction was
And
they
then
weren't going to
those-
make the playoffs.
and then
no,
those
you
people-
thought they were making the
Oh,
playoffs,
sure,
bro.
yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
So
And if
you're
LeBron
trying to jump
hadn't
on
missed
the,
a
you're
month,
trying to
they
jump on
would.
it with Corey, but no, bro, you were one of the playoff believers. We're not talking about championship here. This is making the fucking
I mean,
playoffs.
I don't
That's
know-
what we're talking about.
I don't know if
He
you were
can't even
listening
make
to Corey
hey,
right
stop
now,
interrupting me, man. I
but-
didn't interrupt you. Like, seriously. I'm just saying, they're talking about making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Making the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a whole different argument from
Sure.
winning a championship.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you
And
thought the
Co-
roster was built weird, of course, a lot of people were like, they can't win a ring with this. But everyone had them making the playoffs. 99% of people had
Right.
them making the playoffs. He didn't. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And the point is proven that Corey called it, and now we're sitting here and people are like, "Oh, I knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. They got a bunch of
Jesus.
jokesters." Like, no, bro, that's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Well,
And
that's
you wanna
not
talk
the
about-
second point that we were making. I was going off the other point that Corey was making. We can make more than one point on the show.
DZ, you got anything else for us on this, my
I
man?
want to talk about. Since it's on the shot chart here, I want to talk about Magic Johnson, and I wish I could be like a fly on the wall and hear the inner workings of what's going on here, because obviously, Doug, you mentioned this. Excuse me. This team wasn't built to win this year. I mean, they have LeBron. I'm not making excuses for him, but when you add guys like Lance Stevenson on a 1-year deal, Rondo on a 1-year deal, you know, a bunch of these guys on a 1-year deal, you're looking for expiring contracts to hit up this very, very, very rich free agent summer. So now here's my question, and this is complete speculation. How much pressure was put on Magic by maybe LeBron because his legacy, his perception was taking a hit during the season, and that's why Magic had to go try to trade everybody for AD? Like, how much was it LeBron coming at
That's a great question.
the upper management? And then so now it's like Magic Johnson's like, let's just stick to the plan. We got this. We're gonna have to take one for the team this year, and then we're gonna go all in, all systems go next year. But LeBron, you know, seeing him getting lit up on social media and stuff like that, saying his legacy is gonna take a hit. Now he's putting pressure on that and the management
Yeah, no,
to make a move.
No, that's a great point, because I think we all knew with those plans you're talking about, those 1-year deals, that is Magic's plan, right? This rich offseason of free
Hired
agents.
guns.
Right. If they miss the playoffs this year, but then they land a couple great superstars on the team around LeBron, and let's say KD leaves or whatever, and the Lakers make it to 2 or 3 finals, let's say he wins 1 or 2, I feel like people are definitely going to forget about them missing the playoffs now, and then it's Magic's a genius, right? Like, a lot of Lakers fans and people, LeBron fans especially, are trying to blame Magic. Like, Magic screwed this whole thing up. He's ruining LeBron. But like DZ said, man, it's a great point. Magic, I don't think was focused on this year. And if he was, he wouldn't have done some of the things he did. He's focused on the future. And if it works, if they land Kawhi, if they land Clay, if they land KD as a possibility or any of these guys, and they make it to a finals, start creating that legacy again, it's like, dude, we're gonna call Magic a genius. What he did this year is a genius.
Everyone's
move, right?
dropping the ball on this, dude. Yeah. I think Magic's dropping the ball too. Because I mean, if you go back and look at it, they didn't want to give up one piece, to get Paul George, and they started thinking they were going to get Kawhi Leonard, all these bigger names to pair up with LeBron. So they didn't court him. They talked about Magic Johnson going to his house and like to LeBron's house and like, courting him and showing him all this love. And that's, kind of what got him to come. Bro, they acted like Paul George was nobody. They didn't send no one. Why wasn't Rob Pelinka going over there to, at the same time? They didn't care about Paul George. They treated him like he was nothing. And then they missed out on that. Imagine if they had Paul George right now paired up with LeBron and all these young guys.
They would be at least in the spot that OKC's in.
Yeah.
And you got to give. Magic did screw that up, but everyone thought Paul George was a slam dunk to the Lakers.
Yeah.
So he recovered though. Plan A fucking went out the door July 1st. PG re-signed with fucking the Thunder.
Yeah.
So he his plan B was nice. I felt like what they were doing. You go for next year, But like I said, I don't think they stuck to the script on this one. And now you got,
I agree.
And now you got these young kids that are like, "Fuck, do you guys even want us?" And I love how they're playing now. I love they're fucking like, "Fuck you."
Oh my god,
I love it, dude. They're playing like it's in spite of them. It's like I'm gonna fucking ball out, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what they should do.
They have been too.
Bro, Ingram was on fire,
Well,
and I saw LeBron basically like asking for the ball, and he ignored him like twice.
Yeah.
He asked for the ball. He was posting up somebody, and Ingram's like just shook him off. Then he came up to the top and was like clapping his hand. He just ignored him. He's like, "Dog, get out of my face!" Like, bro, you just like you don't play no D. Why am I to give you the ball?
Well, and that's a thing. If that was sticking to the plan, of course it's an interesting plan to say, well, we're going to throw these guys on here, kind of taking one for the team this year. These guys are expiring. We're going for those free agents. Like Pete said, you already whiffed on Paul George. If you're going to kind of halfway throw away this year and just, maybe we'll make the playoffs, we're not going to win a championship, how is that, a thrown away year as LeBron's getting older, how is that enticing to these free agents at all? Like, it's like you can't just keep assuming that these guys want to come here. It's like, well, Kawhi said that he wants to play in L.A. So did Paul George, And it's like, well, we'll have all this cap space. You're going to be the next New York Knicks if you keep doing this. And just like, we'll have cap space, next year. So you have a garbage, drama-filled season and rookies and young guys that don't want to be there because they're not valued. LeBron's getting older, and then who are you going to end up with?
Yeah, no, it's a great point, man.
We could swing and miss on every free agent next year.
I
don't know. I don't think we will.
I feel like a drama situation is nerve-wracking to come from for any superstar, man. I feel like I feel like AD was like, oh, I'm all LA. That's where I want to go, right? AD at first, didn't he come out and like LA was his spot? And now all of a sudden,
I don't think we've ever heard a quote from him, but that was the rumor, right?
Right, the rumor was like that he wanted LA,
I'm
right?
Curious what the
He bought a house in LA.
Yeah.
Vacant trade.
Yeah, right. That was the main thing. But he did talk about and say that LA is one of the main spots he wanted to go. And now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. At first it didn't seem like Boston, right? It didn't come from him, but it came from his dad. He doesn't want to play in Boston. Now I think it's like he sees all this drama unfolding. He's like, do I really want to go to that team? And you're right, man. I think Dougie, I think that's a great point, dude.
Well,
the drama.
It sucks. There's another team in LA too.
Yeah.
That might make the playoffs
this
year.
Oh, sorry. He actually retracted the Boston thing. He said he would go to Boston.
Yeah, he did during the All-Star game.
Yeah, during the All-Star weekend.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
In which, dude, come on. Don't ever hear someone's dad come out and say something and be like, "Yep, that's the truth."
No, that's a great point.
Well,
we do listen to a lot of camps and parents and friends and sources of the player, and a lot of times we take that. And DZ talks about it all the time. We take it for granted, Does anybody else have anything to jump on with this Lakers thing?
I was just gonna say, why wouldn't AD want to go over there and play with playoff LeBron though? You know what I mean? but he's getting the playoff version against the Dallas Mavericks. That's the playoff LeBron he's getting. I'm just saying. He ain't getting playoff LeBron that we're used to. He's getting the playoff LeBron from the 2010. Because that's all I got to say.
Oh, that's a great point. I just wanted to jump kind of off of what DZ was talking about, with just kind of listening to, AD's dad and kind of the media and just different people, the sources we get kind of twisting words and kind of manipulating us, almost putting us into a point where we start believing things that we don't know is true. And DZ talks about this a lot. So I kind of want to just open it up to you guys a little bit about the stuff we've been seeing with the media. DZ's talked about this quite a bit, that he's definitely not a fan of a lot of things media has done. And Pete, you've been bringing it up lately. What's your guys' take on kind of the media and what they've done? With Kyrie complaining about it a lot. We've seen KD. We see a lot of guys complaining about it. DZ, I'm going to throw it out to you because you've talked about this for a while, and I don't really hear people bring this kind of stuff up very often.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from on this. They have to make a living. But it's like, if you're going to go flick the bear in the nose, 5 times a week, don't be all like, oh my goodness, when they snap back a little bit. I mean, they're humans. At the end of the day, these guys are human beings. Okay, $125 million would make a lot of my problems go away, but I'm pretty sure I'd still be irritable from time to time, especially if you're poking at me. So I mean, I normally take the player side in this situation. I know that's how I pretty much roll. You guys know me. Sure. But I understand the media have to do their job, but you don't need to twist narratives. You don't have, clickbait headlines. That are taken out of context. That's the type of shit I can't fucking stand. And I'm cussing a little bit more today, but it's because of these topics we're talking about.
You're good, man. Yeah. We're explicit on iTunes, so the people know when they jump in, you're going to hear a little bit of cuss words, so that's good. Pete, what do you think on this, man?
I agree with everything Dan said. I mean, I watch a lot of this stuff, and I'm watching a guy interview Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart has a great opinion on his team. And it's very, he just tells his honest, from his heart. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically was just saying like, hey, we all need to play better. We're not playing like good defense or whatever as a team. Bro, they go like to Kyrie. They're like, Marcus Smart says, y'all suck at defense. What's your take? And it's like, he's just like, whatever. Marcus Smart has his own opinion. But I'm sure like Kyrie a few weeks ago probably been like, man, he's on the bench, creating issues in the locker room. It's like they're searching for clickbait. They're trying to set fools up. They do the same thing to Kevin Durant all the time. They want KD to be honest. And, I want a player to be honest. That's what I like. I like authenticity. So when, KD keeps it real, dude, he tells you his honest opinion. Well, you want my opinion on LeBron's situation? It's toxic. He got blasted, bro. He's jealous. Now everyone's using him as a reference to this toxic issue. Well, KD said it, man. Said it, we all agree. It is toxic. Bitch, you were the same one on your show saying he was jealous and will never live in LeBron, live up to what LeBron could do. So, I just can't stand all this fake shit. I know the media is important. I know that they're the reason why we get the stuff we get. And yeah, it is, dude, I'll agree. It's funny to read stuff. Like if I see somebody clowning on LeBron, it is funny. But I will give up all the clowning, funny memes to get more authenticity from players. I will give that all up. If I'm not going to have no more clickbait funny crap about a player I don't like, I'll take that away to let players be real. If someone asks a question, I want their honest, real opinion, and they're not going to get backlash from it. You know what I mean? As long as they're not like being really rude about their teammates or anything, I'm not saying go in there and be like, yeah, Joe Blow sucked. He let us down. I'm just saying be honest, man. Not that fake Tom Brady interview, where it's like, he really hates the guy, but he's like, he's great, and it's just like, it's just hard to watch, bro. I've never been a fan of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I completely agree with you guys. I think the media definitely twists, obviously, a lot of things up. And as DZ said, it's just a hard thing because it's their job. So it's kind of a crazy job because your job is literally like, dude, you need to go create as much drama as possible so we get as many clicks as possible so you make more money. Like, that's your job. That's what you're signed up to do, which it sucks, and it is kind of a pain in the ass in a lot of these things. And when it comes to the players, as I've talked about, I personally like the Tom Brady interviews, to be honest. I know I might be different on some of this stuff. I talked about this the other day. I like the Russell Wilson interviews. I would like to see. I like to hear some dudes be real, but when you hear guys like Westbrook and Kyrie lately, and just the things when people ask them questions and they're like, "Come on, bro, are you serious? You're gonna ask me that dumbass question right now?" It's like, dude, I understand they're asking some dumb questions, but you're in a position where you have to be professional. I'm sorry, but that's just the way life goes, right? You guys, at your guys' jobs, if people are at your tables and they're asking dumbass questions, they're doing stuff in your mind, you can't fire off and be like, "Are you kidding me, bro? You're going to ask me that dumbass question at my job right now?" No, because you're at work and you have to be professional. If a homeowner asks me a question about the house and in my mind they keep blowing me up about the same question, I can't just all of a sudden fire off and be like, "Are you kidding me? Really, you're going to be up on my back making me do this, ask me this question?" It's your job to be somewhat professional. So you can't go, especially when you have kids and you have people, and I agree with you, it is nice to see some realism from some guys and for them to come out and give us their true opinions, but that's your job, man. The CEOs of these big companies can't go out there and be like, "Honestly, man, freaking this guy did this, and this guy's doing this, and this is ridiculous, and blah, 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 the environment, and blah, and this guy keeps asking me this, and I'm not making any damn money." You just can't do it. It's your job to be professional. It is. And I'm okay with you being honest and Kyrie being like, "Come on, bro, like," in a nicer way. To me, you can be like, "Look, man, like, can I just get another question?" Like, to me, that's just, you guys ask this a lot, but be professional with it. Like, give some respect because they're just doing their job too. So give them some respect to just being like, "Hey, man, let's just jump to the next question." But you don't got to be a dick about it. Like,
I don't think me or Dan were on the side of that at all. So, like, to me, it's two different arguments. I mean, your examples too are like, "Oh, if somebody asked me about a house, is that person trying to mess up your job?" You're talking about a customer at our casino just being a customer. No, if the customer was in there trying to cap bets and trying to get me fired, yeah, you're damn right I'm going to get on his ass, dude. If he's in there being a customer, yeah, bro, you're giving examples of perfect media members. Like, yeah, if they're respectful, be respectful back. I totally agree. I'm giving you examples of guys trying to twist narratives, and I'm not cool with that, bro. If a guy hears a quote from someone and then comes to the other guy and leaves out the majority of the quote and only tries to say this one little piece to try to make this guy get pissed and say, "Fuck that guy," that's a big deal to me, dude, and I don't respect that. I'm not cool with that. That's snake shit. That's not cool with me. But it's just two different arguments. I'm telling you.
I'm not cool with them doing that either.
I know, and all the stuff you're saying, we're not cool with either. So it's like you're making it seem like we're not cool with that.
But you guys are talking about you guys want some real stuff, right?
No.
If they feel that way, you want. Didn't that what you
I
said?
don't think
You want them to
Westbrook's
be able
being.
to give it to him.
Here's the thing, dude. I don't think Westbrook's being real, bro. He doesn't answer questions. He just pushes people off and acts like a little bitch. No, I don't. I'm not cool with that, bro. So don't give me Westbrook as an example. Give me someone who's real, like a Shaq, like a KD. Those are the kind of guys I'll defend. I'm not defending Westbrook. You think he's real, bro? When people are asking him questions, he never answers anything about the game. He never tells them anything, inside or anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to address the media at all. He doesn't give a crap about the media.
For sure.
So he's not an example that I would ever defend. When I'm talking about being real, I'm talking about someone that can come at you, be like, "Yeah, man, we need to do this," or whatever, give their real honest opinion on the game and not give that political answer that's just always like, did not give someone bulletin board material so they, don't use it to go come at them next time.
Great
Well,
point.
just something funny about Westbrook that when you guys brought him up made me think of it. He came out and said, "Oh, I don't listen to my critics. Fuck them, basically." Well, last year in the playoffs when Ricky Rubio dropped his ass off, he heard the critics, didn't he? Because what do you say? "Oh, I'm going to stop Rubio this next game."
That's a great point.
Why? I mean, who are you listening to? who told you to stop Rubio?
Yeah.
Fucking win the game.
Oh, you're on Twitter, huh?
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man. Doug, you got anything to add on this? What's your take on the media stuff?
I mean, we're all pretty much on the same page. One thing that I was going to say, it's like with them twisting narratives or sources about stuff, I got to say, I mean, if you have to choose a side, anytime I hear a player say, they get asked a question about some story, and if a player says, "I have no idea where that came from," I pretty much believe them 100% of the time. It's like, that shit's just made up. Yeah. Like, or it's just some long game of telephone.
Wrote that article about KD, and he wrote it in the perspective that he got it from KD. Is how the article read.
Because there is stuff like that out there.
So
There's
KD was pissed,
much.
dude. He's like, "Why am I going to talk? Why would he owe that guy an interview when that guy just wrote an article basically making it seem like KD had told him this?"
You're
and it
talking
wasn't
about
true.
the
I
guy
can't
that
remember his
Katie.
name.
Yeah, Katie called him out by
Yeah.
name while he was there.
Yeah,
in the
because he
press
lied, and that guy
stuff.
didn't-
He like called him a clown or something like that. I
And
forget.
every media member's like, dude, if Katie was
It
lying,
was pretty
I would have
awkward
been like,
and
you're
pretty
lying. But he
tense,
was
but-
like hiding because he knew he was
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
We need more of that. I mean, they do have a Players Tribune. They can go right.
Yeah.
These athletes need to call them out. Call out these bad guys that are doing some shady reporting. I mean, let's just get their name. Let's drag it through the mud.
Well,
It
and
is
that's
tou- it is tough because with the media, I do feel like because I'm with you guys. I think we're all on the same page, just on like different take. You guys are way
degrees.
different degrees of it. Like we're all players first over media. I'm not against that. I do think it sucks though because a lot of these bad media guys, and you guys aren't against the good media guys either, but it sucks because it's almost like giving them a bad name. Like I feel like a lot of times, and it's not you guys. I'm not saying like you guys are pointing like all media is bad. I'm just saying it sucks because a lot of these bad eggs and these bad seeds, like the guy who wrote that article, who is doing the job the way that we wouldn't like it to be done. It kind of there's a lot of great media guys out there that I feel like don't really get brought up as much because a lot of times it's just like. It seems like media, the guys that are making it toxic are putting a bad name on it.
Listen, the awareness I try to bring to the listeners and anyone I talk to is like, just don't run with everything you fucking hear. No. I mean, research it, check it out, cross-reference it, do whatever. Don't just hear like, Russell Westbrook beat his wife, and then go around on Facebook and be like, oh my God, Westbrook's a wife beater.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, let's fucking just slow down. Let's find out if this shit's legit. And let's weed out these bad fucking reporters, dude. Adrian Wojciechowski, one of our favorites.
Right.
This guy, everything he fucking said is gold. Right. He has that reputation now.
That's the thing, though. You brought up the Players Tribune earlier, and so we're at this point where not only is it way easier to be, quote, in the media now, right? I mean, everyone's got the internet. You can start a website. You can look at us. You can start a website. You can start a blog. You can get media credentials. So this pool has widened. So there's all these great media members, and there's a bunch of garbage, too, because it's that much easier to get in. At the same time, it's that much easier as well for these players to cut out the middleman, go straight through Twitter, go to the Players Tribune, do it however they want. So it's getting harder and harder and harder for actual good media members to make a living as they should doing this. I mean, it's just the supply is so huge, and if they do their stuff and they do their stuff right, someone has already beaten them to it with a shittier take or a worse, not as good of a source. Kind of sucks. We're at this point. I don't know where it's going to go from here.
It's opinion-based media now. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the only way that you can kind of like really make your mark is with opinion-based stuff. Everything else is so fast, and there's so much other non-facts out there, and it's like, well, you better have a good opinion or something. You can always fall back on the fact that it's just your opinion.
For sure.
My biggest thing,
close this out for us, man. What do you think?
Well, no,
Hit us with it.
All I'm saying is, respect Woj if he asks you a question, Rachel Nichols or whoever. You know what I'm saying? But if someone's asking you a question, bro, and you know damn well that this motherfucker wants to twist your words, has been writing articles to twist you up, how are you going to give him respect for his job? You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, how are you going to look at another man in their face and say, let me give you, let me help you with your career when I know damn well all you're looking to do is to tear me down. Like you're trying to twist words. You're biting at the chomp for me to slip up and say something so you could go run with it. So it's like, that's my thing. Like when someone goes off on a dude like that, I'm with the player. You know what I'm saying? If you're disrespectful, if you have credibility that you always, write the right article and try to get the right stuff out, and you caught somebody doing something dumb or they said something dumb, feel free to write it. Go ahead. You're just speaking your truth. But if you're a guy that twists words and tries to like leave stuff out to make it seem like he said this or that, then I wouldn't respect you either. And if I was a player, I try to go off of what I would do if I was in their shoes. That's how I try to live my life when I speak on things. And if I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing. I would call that dude out and be like, bro, you're a scrub. Don't ever ask me a question again because you wrote that fake shit. Anybody else want to talk to me? Let's do it. That's how I would have handled it. I would have handled it better than KD because, he is kind of sensitive sometimes. I hate to say it. I just don't think he handles situations right, but he tried to be real. And I love that about him, man. I want authenticity from players. I want to be on a closest personal level as you can get to these guys. So when you get the fake I know you love the Tom Brady guys. He's a great guy. He's a great leader, and he's probably doing the right thing and what's best for his team. I won't argue that. But I don't enjoy an interview when I know a guy doesn't really feel that way, and he's telling me that. I just can't enjoy it, you know?
I get where you're coming from. Let's move on to something that the media has been talking about a lot. You know, we were definitely going to jump into this last week as it all unfolded. Zion Williamson, you know, his shoe busted out in the first 30 seconds of a massive, you know, one of the best rivalries in sports, Duke-UNC game. And now it's a conversation, you know, everyone's talking about it. Should this dude come back? You know, if his knee ends up being healthy, should he come back and should he play? Pete, what do you think, man?
I think he should do whatever he wants to do. You know, do I want to see him play as a fan of the game? Yes. I want to see him play. I love watching Zion. I want to see him in the tournament. That'd be awesome. But it's his own decision. And if he's looking at his family or whatever and, you know, money-wise, what he can lose and all that stuff, I'll respect his decision. But to me, if I was him, I would take an insurance policy out. He's the consensus number one pick. He's going to get a big shoe deal. He's got all this. I've seen top players like this who knew they could lose a lot of money due to injury, who went back to college or whatever. They take huge insurance policies out, you know, where they're, and I'm not talking about that little bullshit one that they got, or if he falls outside the top 15, right, he gets a little bit of money. He can take a big time insurance policy out. And if you say, oh, well, he's poor, he can't get the loan. He can easily get the loan, bro. Everyone's biting at his credit score is through the roof right now, right? Anyone's going to give him a loan. That's the approach I would take. And I would finish the year out, man. If he's made a commitment, I don't know what his relationship is with his teammates, but if you have you two are two of my best friends, okay? And if we were playing on a team together on Duke, and I hurt myself, and I knew that I had this financial situation, you know, I would take the insurance policy out to make sure I could come be with my teammates and make sure I can come through for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what winning means to him, because winning to me means everything, bro. You know, in our fantasy football leagues, basketball leagues, you can keep the money. I want the trophy. I want my name. I want the legacy. So if winning a college title to him means something, to be a player that say I can win in the college and in the NBA, if that means something to him, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see him go for it. You know, that's how I feel he should play.
DZ, if you're Zion, you coming back?
Absolutely fucking not. Listen, I mean, Pete, with all due respect, I mean, he wouldn't have went to college if they didn't have this dumbass rule. He's not coming back if Duke somehow loses in the Sweet 16. And I'm sure he does has some kind of friendship with these guys on the team. But in my opinion, is you got to think about your family, your future family, their family, and there's just too much money to be given up here. And I wrote down some guys that I felt like, you know, this is not the same situation because these guys got hurt in the NBA. But this is the risk we are taking with Zion. You don't risk this kind of money. We got Sean Livingston. A lot of money lost because he got hurt. I know it was in the NBA, and he's still living a good life because, you know, he came back and he was a shell of himself, and he adjusted to that. Brandon Roy lost a ton of money. Penny Hardaway lost a ton of money. Grant Hill lost a ton of money. Those guys actually got paid a little bit before they did get hurt. But one guy I want to bring up right now, Corey, near and dear to your heart, Greg Oden. Okay, Greg Oden, number one pick in the draft. He's had multiple microfracture surgeries on the knee. And we all know those never bode well for your NBA career going forward. This guy played about 5 or 6 seasons. Sorry, I don't have the exact number here. Made $24 million as an NBA career, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, guys. $24 million is $24 million. You should be able to find a nice financial guy and live the rest of your fucking life happily there. But let's look at a guy who got drafted right after him. Kevin Durant. Pete, your favorite player. This guy right here, he is this is just salaries alone. We don't even want to talk about his endorsements because they're ridiculous. Just on the shoe fucking contracts alone. Yeah. He's made $165 million in his NBA career. He's about to sign the super max 4-year, most likely 4-year deal this offseason. Could be a 5-year deal if he stays with Golden State. This is too much money to fucking care about your fucking friends winning a fucking college title. You do not risk this money. You do not gamble this money away. And he does have an insurance policy. I looked this up. Duke is actually paying for the loss of value if he drops out of the top 17 or 16, which I thought that was crazy that they could pay for insurance for the. But that's cool. He has undisclosed disability insurance already taken out by the school, which sucks. I don't believe he can go and shop himself and get his own. It has to go through the school, which is retarded because he can't even get the terms of the deal right now. No, if he just quits right now, says, fuck this, I'm going to go train. And yes, he can get hurt training. But if he quits right now, dude, he could get money right now. Whoever is his fucking agent, money. Whatever shoe deal he wants to do, right now, money. Like, secure your family. Take care of it. Do not blow your lottery ticket. Do not risk your lottery ticket. Get the fuck out of college, dude. Get the fuck out of there. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to improve his stock. It's number one. It's going to happen no matter what. But if he goes out and gets a fucked up knee, it's not even a career-ending injury. A fucked up knee, an Achilles like fucking DeMarcus Cousins. That could cost him a lot of money, and it might zap his fucking talent for the long run.
I mean, it's a great point. Obviously, I think we're all in agreement that the NCAA is corrupt in this. I mean, making that much money off a college basketball game that none of these guys are getting paid for besides scholarships is absolutely crazy. And I think we're all in agreement. There shouldn't be even a one and done. You should be able to come out of high school. So I'm absolutely in agreement on that. I think, I'm with Pete on this. As we've talked about this in the chat and stuff like that. I just feel like it's tough, and it's scary for me because I'm seeing sports in general go towards just pure money and business, right? And so I won't blame Zion either way. If he takes DZ's route, I will not blame him at all because you're right. You do have to take care of your family, and family does, come before friends. But I just feel like we're seeing so much of this. So then it's like, how far are we going to start taking this, right? So it's like the money is more important than even just playing basketball now. It's all about just making money. And it's like, this is what he loves to do. This is what dudes love to do. They don't just do it for the money. Like, this kid wasn't 5 years old being like, I just want to play in the park just so I can make millions. Like, obviously, that's your goal. That'd be awesome. But this kid loves to play. I'm sure he was shooting hoops, dunking at a young age, just loving it, laughing with his friends, doing this stuff. So it's like, how far are we going to take this, right? I mean, you can look at, I always try to bring in like a life reference to this, and I know I bring up jobs, and it's way different, right? Because the money side of it isn't $24 million. It might be a $100,000 signing with let's say you're a firefighter, right? And you're in a 2-year, you get signed to 2 years or whatever. Your contract is 2 years for this company, or a police officer or whatever. And you're like a month away from your contract ending, and you're trying to figure out if you're going to sign another one, or you're going to work for this company and work for another one. Like, are you just going to be like, I am not going in that burning house because if I go in there and I get hurt, I'm not going to be able to work ever again. Like, these guys don't just get to make those decisions. These are their jobs. These are what they like to do. And I know it's not necessarily Zion's job yet because he's not getting paid for it yet. But I'm just saying, like, when does this stop? Because if you're in the NBA and then, like, Kevin Durant right now, let's say Kevin Durant wasn't on Golden State. It was looking like he might not get a championship. Should Kevin Durant just be like, man, it's not worth the risk to me. It's not worth the risk to me to play the rest of the year with the Brooklyn Nets and not win a finals. I know I'm not going to win a finals this year. Next year, I know I'm probably going to go to New York or LA or someone and make all this money. Why am I going to risk my legs? Let's make a business decision for my family. I know I'm getting Supermax. Let's just shut it down. And that's what scares me about sports, man. We're seeing it in the NFL and the NBA, all over the place. It's like, it's all about the money. Like, let me see these players ball, man. And that's just the way I see it. It just scares me.
Zion's not under contract, though.
No,
or is he?
Yeah, that's a good question. He might be getting paid already. We don't even know.
Yeah. Right.
So let's be real. He's got to honor that. I'm just kidding. Coach K's like, yo, I paid you, dog. You better get your ass back here.
Well, it's like if someone steals your weed, bro. You can't call the cops. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, to rebuttal what you said, you made great points. But I mean, a lot of those guys you mentioned, KD did go to college. He did play the full year. So, I mean, like, had he sat out and then got all this money, I think I would lean more towards what you're saying. But, Greg Oden, let's be real, bro, his body was going to break down. Like, he might have had a couple extra years if he didn't play college ball to make a couple extra million. That's not a bad point. but the dude had issues with his body, like, period. He's a big ass center, and he was breaking down. I don't know, man. I just feel like, you know what you're saying, Corey, I agree with a lot of that. You know, you play the game, you love the game, play it. But here's the thing. If you couldn't get an insurance policy to cover that up, I would probably lean towards what Dan's saying. You know what I'm saying? But you easily can get an insurance policy to cover that up. You know what I'm saying? So what's the big deal, man? Just pull that bitch out, you know, to cover the way what he's worth right now. He's worth so much, like Dan's saying. He could get something that will benefit him in the long run if some catastrophic injury happened. And another thing is he plays ball. So to train for the NBA or whatever, he's going to be doing jumping, dunking, shooting, hooping. He ain't going to sit on a couch for a year, you know, or whatever and wait for it to happen. So he can get hurt at any time, you know, any place.
It's just crazy how much, I mean, obviously money's so much more in the NBA now, but it's just crazy how much it's turned. Because I feel like these weren't conversations back in the day. I mean, I know it wasn't worth as much money.
Bro, you
but I
go
feel
look
like
at back in the day. Yeah, you're right.
People weren't talking about this all the time.
Because it doesn't matter.
Look at the
Like,
Fab
things
Five
change.
and what that did for them playing in college.
Things change, man. The money's different now. You cannot risk it. Listen, you love the movie Along Came Polly, right?
It's one of my favorites.
Okay, Ben Stiller, he had the little computer.
The wrist thing?
Yeah, he punches that in there. And you know what it says? He hits enter. And it says, Zion, get the fuck out of Durham, North Carolina now, dude.
But you know what's
Dude,
awesome?
risk reward, guys. This is logical.
But you know what's awesome about that movie? What happens at the end of it? He eats peanuts off of the ground because risk isn't worth it.
That's true.
It's true.
That's a good point.
Well,
that's a great movie, though.
That's a great movie. I like
I
that.
love it.
But you can't live your whole life off of risk, right? That's kind of I feel like that's kind of the point of the movie. Like, it's a really cool thing, and you should pay attention to that. But at the same time, it's like his thing is basically almost being mocked in the movie of like, don't even live life, dude. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, he took it to the extreme.
No, for sure.
He was extreme. Okay, maybe you got me on that. You, I was trying to be funny.
sorry, man, I didn't mean to.
made his
It came
point.
to my mind. My bad.
But anyways, dude, love of the game, can get hurt. I mean, yes, he can get hit by a fucking garbage truck tomorrow, and the garbage truck's gonna have to go get fixed. All right. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna have to get totaled or something. But anyways.
That's awesome.
But
That's a great point.
dude, this is. I mean, dude, there's just no. I mean, fuck Duke, man. Just get out of there, dude.
Yeah.
Get out of there, dude. There's
not
so
getting
much
paid.
money to be made. Like, dude, how awesome would it be to be fucking? I just set up my fucking grandkids with money, dude. My whole family forever, and a suppressed black athlete.
Right.
Yeah.
Being able to say, you know what, grandkids, your grandkids
You're all going
are not
to
going to the
college.
ghetto. They're not going to be in the ghetto. They're going to be set up because of what I did, because of the money I put.
Changes the whole family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So many opportunities. It's not even about the money. It's about the opportunities. His grandkids have a chance to fucking change the world if they want, because they got the opportunities to do that.
But, you know, here's my thing. If he's playing through an injury or something, you know, I agree with you. But if he's completely healthy, why not play? You said there's no more money to be made. I will argue that there is more money to be made. Because, you know, going back to if you go back to our chat when we first talked about Zion, people were like, oh, what's all this hype? Why are you guys all talking about him? But he played college ball, and now everyone's agreeing that he's the number one pick, right?
He's on TV
Why?
all the time.
Because we saw him. And you're right, you can't go higher than number one, so I can't argue that. But you can go higher on that shoe deal contract. And if Zion goes and balls out in the freaking tournament, balls out, we fall in love with him. He's dropping 30 a game, dunking on fools, wins a title. And here's the thing. If Zion believes in himself that he's the best player, that he can go win the tournament, and that's how I would feel if I was him, why not go do it, right? Because that Nike contract or whatever contract, you might not sign with Nike because the shoe blew out.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? That big baller brand contract is going to go from $50 million to $100 million if he's a champion.
LeVar Ball's doing car washes right now to save up to pay him.
Right? No, that's a great point, man.
So-
I think neither side is necessarily wrong. If he goes either way, I don't necessarily blame him. It could go either way. He could come back, win a national championship, look super cool, not get hurt, and go on. Or he could come back and then snap his leg, and DZ comes on the podcast in a couple weeks. It's like, you dumbasses, I told you! So we don't know. You know, I guess we'll see the decision that he decides to make. But I feel like DZ is already getting ramped up. I love it, dropping F-bombs left and right.
I love having him
DZ,
on
we
here.
talked about, you know.
And he brings good points.
He brings a great.
So
yo,
it's like
absolutely.
not you know, if I was arguing with, you know, some of our other buddies like Trey or Nate or anything, we would just be ripping them apart. But Dan actually, comes in educated, facts,
absolutely,
examples.
which is exactly why I think the rant of the week. DZ wrote a great article, and if you haven't, if you're a listener of ours and you haven't read his articles, he's got a couple up there already, and one of the first ones he posted was about Karl-Anthony Towns. I've kind of been a little bit of a critic of him. I think, he's a stud, but just not living up to what I think he can. And DZ's back this dude, man. DZ has a lot of love for this guy, and so I'm gonna give it off to DZ. What do you feel? The love that Karl-Anthony Towns is not getting.
Just for the record. Make sure this gets on the final product, Dougie. I want to see Zion play in the tournament as well. I just think it's smart for him. But anyways, let's move on to Karl-Anthony Towns.
I got you.
Okay, Karl-Anthony Towns.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I look at this kid. I look at his numbers coming in. They're absolute, like, what you would expect from a superstar player. From the get, right from the get, he's improved every single year. He's a center. He stretches the floor, hits at a high clip, does everything you want. And then this guy from Chicago rolls into town.
Jimmy.
They make the playoffs and they get bounced in the first round from Houston, the best team in the league. And then now all of a sudden, literally, guys, this is no joke. A year ago, almost everybody had Karl-Anthony Towns ahead of Joel Embiid. Now, don't get me wrong. Joel Embiid has earned the right to be, he's better than Towns at this point right now. He's definitely better than Towns. I'm not going to argue that. But this guy is just getting shit on for losing one playoff series. It's all from perception. Jimmy Butler came in. I don't even remember him being disgruntled last year during the season. And then after the season, we kind of got all this noise about I'm not signing a long-term deal there, and I'm going to take the third team and winning a fucking practice that no one saw, and and then I'm going to fucking just be. Dude, I actually saw this, dude. I couldn't believe it when I was researching this paper. He's sitting on the fucking bench in Golden State with the fans waving their towels, and this cocksucker takes his towel and just starts fucking waving it with them, like, what the fuck is that? Like, what kind of teammate are you? Why do we get to call out Karl-Anthony Towns nonchalant, not having a winning attitude, and this bitch is on the fucking bench waving his fucking towel with the opposing fucking fans, dude? Okay, so this motherfucker goes off to Philadelphia. And, Dougie, we talked about this off the record, or off the show before, we started, and he's in Philadelphia. This is early January, guys. Fucking right after you got tried crying about his role, saying, "Well, I'm used to being the ball handler in a pick and roll offense." Well, what are you gonna fucking do with Ben Simmons, you fucking smart guy? And you knew that going into this when you went to fucking Philly, that you're not gonna be the pick and roll guy when on the main offense and all that stuff. And luckily, I find this funny. Have we heard anything from Jimmy lately? You guys heard anything? Yeah, you know why? Because his fucking agent finally did his job and said, "Shut up, Jimmy. You're a free agent this offseason. Shut your mouth." Fuck, maybe he should do what Zion doing. Just sit out, dude. Fucking sit out on fucking social media, period, dude. And so, here's the thing. I see Jimmy Butler come in. Karl-Anthony Towns. He hasn't accomplished a ton in his first 4 or 5 seasons in the league. As far as winning and stuff. And he just goes in there and calls this kid nonchalant, not a winning attitude. Now, I understand Andrew Wiggins is getting fucking cooked for this. Andrew Wiggins hasn't lived up to what the fuck he was supposed to do. Right. But like I said, Karl-Anthony Towns is getting it done. And Jimmy Butler says, a nonchalant, bad or not a winning attitude, and then leaves fucking town, and now all of a sudden, everybody fucking hates Karl-Anthony Towns. This guy, Jokic is ascended past him all of a sudden. Jokic's flavor of the week. The guy's winning this year. I understand. I love Jokic too, by the way. But dude, Karl-Anthony Towns is a beast. I feel like people need to just chill with the hate. And dude, this guy's gonna win. I even talked about it in the article. It took Kevin Garnett 8 seasons to win a fucking playoff series. Okay, the guy had 1 fucking playoffs. He did play bad. Capella got him. They doubled him a lot and all that bullshit. But I mean, give this guy a chance. Let him get back to the playoffs and do some work, man. This guy's a good player. I just want all the listeners to know that Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm gonna say it right now. This guy's a fucking superstar. Period. Right now. Not maybe later. Right now, Karl-Anthony Towns is a superstar.
I like it. Pete, what do you think, man? Where's your take on this?
Man, I mean, I like his opinion on this. I don't really have much to debate with it. My only issues with Towns has always been that I think he's so gifted that I think he could be a top 3 player, top 5 player in the NBA, So I just want to see him get there, And I don't know. I was kind of buying into the soft hype, maybe because I don't know if he's living up to the expectations of what I was feeling for him, like, how when you kind of have a feeling about a player, like, oh my God, this guy is special, like how I felt about KD and how he's living up to what I thought he would be. So I'm just waiting, he's still young, like Dan said, give him some years, and I'm hoping that he can develop into being this player that's performing in the playoffs. And it's a lot harder for big men to lead a team in today's NBA. So I will give him a pass for that. I mean, look at Anthony Davis, bro. He had a bunch of talent around him, and they're not making the playoffs. So how am I going to hate on Towns when AD's ranked ahead of almost every big in the NBA?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's I feel like to DZ's point, I feel like AD's not getting that criticism right now, really. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people aren't like, well, maybe AD dropped off and, now he's not making the playoffs, this and that. I mean, no, that's a great point. I'm not really sure why, on my end, the love hasn't necessarily been there for Towns. He's on my fantasy team, and since DZ's article and this accident he's had, DZ, lit a fire under him. He's helping my fantasy team, which is going to be great. But I don't know, man. I've just seen some stuff, I guess, defensively. Obviously, he's a shot blocker, but he's just not like, I guess, not like an aggressive dude. He's not the Embiid. He doesn't have the, and maybe he's just a different type of dude, which is fine, right? Maybe he just doesn't have that spark to him necessarily, but swag. I guess he just doesn't have that swag to him, and I guess I like to see that, especially from a superstar type of dude. And so that's really where, obviously we know his stats are beast. I guess he just, I don't know. I guess I just need to see him carry him. But to Pete's point as well, it's hard in this league. It's a guards league, especially from leadership roles and stuff like that, or small forwards, but it's not really a centers league, and so I think that's why the usage is just not there for him. So DZ, I think that's great. Like I said, jump on there and read DZ's article and give us some feedback on it, man. That's DZ spent some great time. The dude's a great writer. Make sure you listen to this. The next article he's got, I know we're at the hour mark already, but we missed a full week, so if you got to pause the podcast and tune in the last 20 minutes tomorrow, do your thing, because we ain't stopping now. DZ has a second article on there, and he talks about the MVP race, and that's a big conversation in our group chats, on ESPN, online, everywhere I'm seeing it's a big article, and he makes some great points in there, so let us know what you think there. But to me, it's a 3-man race, right? I think it's
let's hear your take.
To me, I feel like it's Harden, not Harden at 1, but it's Harden, Giannis, and Paul George. I feel like it's between those 3, with, to me, the 4th kind of not really getting maybe some of the love he should, is Jokic. I think is right on the outs of being in that 3. But to me, I got Giannis at 1. I don't know. It's between. I feel like I might have Paul George at 2 and Harden now at 3. I don't know if it's just, I'm not really a big fan of Harden. But what Giannis has done in the East there, taking the Bucks to the number 1 seed, and just what he's doing with that group, I feel like the dude's a beast, and we talked about this a little before. DZ, he's working on his 3-point shooting a little bit. He's got that up a little bit, which is going to be huge. But just what this guy can do offensively and defensively. I mean, Pete and I talk about this all the time. We like both ends of the floor. Paul George is also that type of dude. So I guess I just don't give as much love to Harden, because it's like his usage rate is through the roof. But then he's not doing anything defensively. So his energy, once he gets to the offense end, usually he's got plenty of energy. But you look at a dude like Greek and Paul George, who are doing all kinds of stuff defensively, and then they're still able to do the same thing on the opposite side of the floor, I think is massive. And I pay to winning. To me, James Harden has done some historical stuff. He's having a great season. I'm not trying to knock him for that. He's done some awesome things. But Giannis has got him number one in a good race between 3 or 4 teams in the East that we've talked about that all could probably be number one. He stayed ahead of Toronto. And then you look at Paul George. I personally had OKC a little bit further down just because of what I saw last year in the playoffs. And I don't see Westbrook letting Paul George cook. But what Paul George is doing is awesome, man. And, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I've seen some dope game winners, and Westbrook's letting him cook a little bit and the things he can do defensively. And it's like, I had him as pretenders in our Contender Pretender podcast, and it's not Westbrook that's changed my mind. It's Paul George. And so to me, to go on in the record and say I'm wrong, I think I did last week, but they're contenders to me, and it's Paul George, and that's massive. DZ, what's your take?
Man. This is tough, guys. This is almost like day trading. These guys are so close in my couple that, when I wrote this article, Paul George was my guy. Couple weeks before that, before the All-Star break, James Harden was my guy. And now, look at what we had this week. We had 2 games where James Harden was absolutely putrid from the field. Then he came out and dropped 56, 58 on the Heat.
Right.
Okay, and now we got Greek on minutes restriction, and we got PG missing 2 games in a row. Like, this MVP is here for the taking. This is one of the closest races I've ever seen. So, honestly, I could tell you who I want to win.
Tell us.
But I can't tell you who I think will.
Who do you want to win?
I want Paul George to win. This is his last chance to get a fucking MVP, dude. This is the one and only chance to do it. Especially, oh my goodness. Anyways, with Westbrook, that's the argument I hate. Sorry, I'm going to jump off somewhere quick here. That's the argument I freaking hate, man. Play the rant music. Dude, dude, Westbrook, everyone, tries to act like, oh, he's got a superstar next to him. You can't give him the MVP. Dude, Westbrook's like a deterrent, man. He's doing it in spite of that guy, man. The guy's got 4.6 turnovers per game. And not to mention that, you talk about, it's not just the turnovers with Westbrook, because 4.6 per game, that's like you're losing that many possessions for PG to do something special. Okay, but that's not where it ends with this guy. Because then he shoots 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 horrible shots a game.
Yeah.
So all you're really doing is, I guess you're helping this guy get his transition D in order. But that's about it, dude. Dude, I'm so sick of this that... that he's got another superstar because, guys, seriously, I would take the players in Milwaukee over Westbrook, dude. I love what Bledsoe brings. He's fucking buying into his role and doing what he's supposed to do. Brogdon, Lopez, dude, all these guys. Now they got Mirotic, they got Ilyasova, and now they just picked up Paul Gasol. Dude, honestly, I fucking think I like what Greek's got in Milwaukee over all these contenders, as far as help around them.
Right.
And the Thunder really don't have scores outside of Westbrook and George, Jeremy Grant's kind of nice, he's more of a defender. He's like an amino type. Terrence Ferguson's a nice little defender. This guy, boy, man, this guy needs to eat a cheeseburger. You guys seen this guy? Good night, dude. He's 6'8", 130 pounds, dude. Fuck, we thought Brandon Ingram was skinny, but anyways, they got some nice, on the defensive side of the ball, they got some nice pieces, but man, Paul George, just puts that oomph in them, man. You guys see this guy, he fucking shoots 3 balls with confidence, man. This guy, and he pulls from deep. He's got range, limitless range. Yeah. Okay, and dude, he ain't afraid to take it at these big guys in the paint. We all saw the game winner. He had the oh my goodness, that floater was nice against Gobert. We see that he does this all the time, man. And what he does on defense, he picked up Donovan Mitchell in that game last Saturday against Utah in the overtimes after Terrence Ferguson fouled out. He picks him up at half court, fucking puts the wood to him, and then he does all this hustle stuff, dude. He's right there in deflections. He's right there in defensive ball. He leads the league in defensive loose balls recovered. He does what a role player does. But he's also the best offensive player and the best defensive player on his team. I really want Paul George to win, but he can't sit out games. So, no. I don't know where to go on this one.
That's awesome. Pete, who do you got, man? You got James Harden obviously blowing it out, right? It's not even close, or?
You got the wrong guy here.
Oh, shit.
That's awesome, man.
Pete, who you got, my man?
I mean, shit, man. The way Dan sold Paul George, man, kind of got me leaning. You know, I love Paul George, and here's the thing. One thing Dan nailed on the money is if you are an MVP candidate playing with Russell Westbrook, you're balling, dude.
That's impressive.
Because I seen KD put up numbers, and I know he would have killed. Dude, Westbrook shot more shots than the scoring champ per game. Think about that. Like, how stupid can you be? You shooting more shots than the scoring champ of the NBA. Like, that makes no sense. So, I mean, I'm with him. He has adjusted his game a little bit, you know, but it's still horrible to watch. And he's made some great points. But I got to go to the numbers. And the one edge I give Paul George that I do like is he can close a game out inside and out. And Greek can't. You know, sometimes when you see that they're really clogging the paint, he has to go to somebody else and let them close the game out. So that's an edge to Paul George. But everything else screams Greek to me. The numbers, the advanced metrics, you go look at it all, man. It's all Greek freak. You know, if you go look at offensive win shares, James Harden's number 1, right? Obviously with his usage rate. Mm-hmm. Greek freak's number 4. So he's 4th in win shares. And I think Paul George was, I want to say like 8th. So, you know, Paul George is up there too. But then you flip it to defensive win shares for the team. Greek freak's number 1 in defensive win shares. Paul George is number 6, Harden. And I couldn't find Harden on there. So, yeah, he wasn't in the top 20 or top 30. Yeah. So, I mean, and then you go to total win shares combined, Greek Freak's number 1. So, you know, if you go and then we got to, you know, even though it's the East, and I will discredit the East a little bit, you know, since Paul George is 3rd in the West, I think that's about on par with number 1 in the East. So they're about the same in that area. But Harden's team, what are they?
5th, I think.
5th? Yeah. So, I mean, Greek's number 1. You know, he's got the record. He's got the win shares. He's got the numbers. I mean, to me, it's Greek. You know, I feel like he's going to win MVP. And it's going to take a lot. Of course, the biggest thing is, you guys are right. It's what we're going to see in the end. You know what I mean? Because it's like, but Greek's body of work, and no matter what, you can break it down. If we go eye test towards the end, which is going to sway some voters, and Harden's balling out and Greek's sitting out, but it doesn't matter. If you go overall chart of work, Greek will have the best chart of work in the end, unless he sits out the last 20 games. If he plays the majority of those games, his body of work is going to be the best. So,
Dougie Fresh, who you got real quick?
I became a convert to the Paul George thing after reading Dan's article.
That's awesome.
That whole
man.
thing with those hustle plays, that spoke to me. No, it's tough though. I think what Dan was implying too. It's more that I want Paul George to win though. I mean, either one. I love Giannis though. I mean, it's kind of cool that I'm not the biggest Harden fan, but I'm not really even too much of a Harden hater compared to some. So all of these guys, it's awesome. Like I wouldn't mind if Harden won again, just because I think he should have won that year that Westbrook won it over him. So all of these guys could be good. I'd love for Paul George too, though, because like you said,
I don't think anyone's a Harden hater here. Really, like none of us ever hate on the guy like we do LeBron.
Playoff time we will. Right now,
yeah. Sure.
But that's his
fault,
right?
he gets a lot of hate, is what I'm saying. I mean, most people are pretty sour on him.
I didn't think you were calling us out.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate that so people don't come at us like, oh, y'all are just hating on Harden. We like Harden. No one here hates him. So if he had the credentials, we would put him there. You know what I mean? This isn't a hate thing.
I mean,
this has nothing to do with hate.
I mean, I like Harden's case for it too, because of course I got a Kobe jersey hanging on the wall. And just huge scoring seasons like that is just really fun. It's pretty sweet. It's not as fun to watch as Kobe was.
I think at the end of the day, like to the listeners out there, for us, I think we can all agree on this. Like, whoever wins this thing, no one got screwed.
Yeah.
Someone else, you can't make the case like, if Harden wins, oh, the Greek got screwed, or if Paul George wins, Harden got screwed. We're not going to do that this year.
Yeah.
Let's be responsible fans and just appreciate the MVP that we do get. And then just to talk about, I just want to mention one more thing on Pete's point, what he brought up. I mean, a lot of the times the winner of this award, it's the best player on the best team. Well, and the Bucks are the best team, and they've done it. And I wrote my article. They've done this in dominating fashion, guys. It's not just the best record. They're the best team at home. They're the best team on the road. That they have the best differential. They have the best record in the Eastern Conference. They have the best record as far as Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. So they've dominated that. He's the best player, and he's dominating the league. So I think Greek, as I wrote in an article, I think he is going to get this award. He needs to quit sitting out games, though.
The Bucks, they have, at least it was true like a week ago or something when I heard it, the Bucks have the best point differential since the 73-9 Warriors.
Yeah, it's like almost 10 a game.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As you guys touched on, it's just cool. We have three dudes like, DZ said and Doug said. It's like three dudes that it could go to anybody, And I think DZ makes a great point, man. We need to try not to hate so much on like the dude who wins and try to like find the reasons he didn't, but just like, appreciate what these guys are doing, because all three of them are having, great seasons in their own ways. I think it's awesome what you guys are touching on with Paul George. If you can make things work with Westbrook, it's like, God, that's impressive in itself. So, and what Greek's doing in the East, and then the scoring, stuff we're seeing from Harden is amazing as well. So I think it's cool. We're just having a great race. Do you guys have anything else to touch on with this MVP race before we close it out here?
The one thing that you could be negative with you guys have been making the point about, putting up this MVP campaign while being Russell Westbrook's teammate is impressive enough. Like, half jokingly, but totally seriously too. What's gonna suck is if like he wins this and just, I keep seeing it all season long. Wow, Russell Westbrook just has really changed this season. He's really letting Paul George play. And they give him so much credit for Paul George's season. I've heard that way too many times. And sure, maybe he's deferred a bit. No, you can't give Russell Westbrook credit for what Paul George is doing.
No, this is what's funny to me is like, what you watch the games, and this is the same shit with KD when KD played there. When Westbrook gets his assists, they're usually to the other guys, Grant, the Fergusons, that Steven Adams. Mm-hmm. It's not like Westbrook's assists are over here what's making Paul George score. Who's leaving Paul George to go help on Westbrook? I wouldn't. Would you? No. That's stupid, right? You hug Paul George. So do Paul George and Westbrook run pick and roll together? No. So Paul George is doing that shit on his own. You know what I mean? And having to share the ball with someone who dominates the ball more than, anybody besides James Harden. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Doug. It's a good point. And it leads to what Dan was saying with Westbrook. It's really impressive what he's doing, because it's not like what Westbrook does complements Paul George. Westbrook's game doesn't complement a Paul George or a KD. It really doesn't. Think about it. Even when he gives up the ball and he goes and stands there, guess what? Westbrook's guys now is pitching and swiping at the ball because they want you to give it back to Westbrook so he can shoot a three, So it's like, it's just funny.
I just want to, because that was a good point, Dougie. The thing that sucks about this, and this is speculation, I'm not trying to be a Westbrook hater.
Why not?
He just bugs me, man. But like, dude, it might be bad if for the Thunder, if PG wins the MVP, because then I can just see Westbrook either in the playoffs or next season for sure. Like, well, I gotta prove them wrong. I'm the MVP of this team, and then just completely change his mindset. Like, when you're playing somewhat the right way, you still do those stupid ass fucking pull up jumpers that almost break the backboard every fucking time. But I mean,
dude, I watch more of that than anybody.
My goodness.
I mean, how many years have I been complaining about Westbrook? You guys can attest. Forever, bro. You guys thought I was the biggest Westbrook hater. And of course, here's what's cool about it, man. When you complain about stuff with your friends, your smart friends will start to watch it, and they'll come around and be like, they'll see what you're seeing. Your dumb friends will just call you a hater. But I mean, you guys obviously are seeing the Westbrook. You're seeing the LeBron toxic, in the locker room. And you guys are smart analysts, so you guys are putting two and two together and saying, well, if it keeps happening and happening and happening, obviously there's only one constant here, Westbrook. LeBron.
Common denominator.
Yeah, there's only one common denominator here. Yeah, no. So let me ask a quick question before we get off. We're running a little bit longer. I mean, we freaking missed a week.
Go for it.
I want to know your guys' opinion. I'll go around in a circle here. Who is the best player in the world right now? Not MVP, not any of that. I want to know. I'm putting you guys on the hot seat.
Best player in the world.
And then tell me where you think LeBron, where you want to put LeBron to. Because I'm curious. A lot of people had LeBron, so like, how far is he falling for you guys?
I don't know. Well, I mean, because when you say best player in the world, you can also be thinking of their body of work and reputation at the same time. But if it's just like, who do you want right now?
It's not who you
is
want.
the
It's
best
whoever you
player
think.
on the team. Yeah,
However
who
you
is
break
the
it
best?
down. Don't worry about how
Yeah.
Pete or we break it down.
Yeah.
However you break it down. Who's the best player in the world?
Man,
Should we pass this to Corey?
it's Giannis. It's the Greek. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He does it all. He's young. He's gonna keep doing it. He can go on both ends, and he's who I'd want to start a team with. I just think he's the best.
You don't even have him as MVP though. No, I'm just looking at you. Go ahead.
I like it. I mean, come on, dude. How are we not going to get this to Dame Dollar?
That's hilarious.
Hey, it ain't that funny. No, I'm a Kevin Durant. That's where I have it right now. I've had him for the last couple years. I think Pete's probably had him even a little bit longer than that. But it's hard for me because I want to see him on another team, so I'm hopeful that he leaves. And I'm hopeful we can see him, not with these Warriors, because I think that people aren't seeing what KD can do, really, and they're just putting him in this Warriors 73-9 team. Really, he's not that great, but I believe KD's the number one player. I'm with you. I actually go Giannis number 2, and I put LeBron and probably a guy like Paul George, right in that number 3 range. I mean, yes, LeBron's body of work, let's not, discredit him for all that stuff, but we're talking about right now, like basketball player right now. We're not talking about his rings. We're not talking about his championships he lost. We're talking about right now, and I don't think he's better than Giannis, and I don't think he's better than KD.
I like that.
Is it my turn?
Wait, real quick. Where did you have LeBron? You got him still above KD? You got
I don't
Giannis
know.
one?
Well, I mean, I just don't want to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. I mean, you have to do that in tiers. I mean, LeBron's on the next tier.
He's
with
tearing apart your franchise, dude.
So-
It's got to be
Yeah.
like 14.
You're
yeah,
saying
but he's still
Greek-
really fucking good.
Are you saying
He's
Greek's
still
in the
LeBron
tier?
James?
And
I don't know. If I have to pick the best player, I'm going to say Greek right now.
But no, you were talking about tiers though. Are you talking about your ones in a tier by its own? Or
Sure, because you have to pick one.
Yeah, but
there could be 2 guys in the same tier and
Yeah.
one be ahead. Is what I'm
Right.
saying.
a tier's
But- and that's who
there's
I
no
would-
argument for this guy.
Right. And that's the thing. Honestly, that's why it's so hard for me, because I think LeBron dropping out of the greatest player in the world thing makes it really difficult to pick a clear favorite. KD was the other one that I was thinking, of course. I just figured it would go around the table, and honestly, everyone's going to say KD. But it's like...
So you just gave us a non-true opinion.
But it's just hard seeing... I don't know. It's just hard seeing... When LeBron at his peak, it's such a clear and obvious favorite that he's the greatest player in the world, I think, at least. But... And KD's been catching up to that or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's bias, I'm not a hater, but I'm not a huge KD fan. And so it's like, whatever... I don't know. If it is, I look at it in tiers because I'm crying because LeBron's ruining my team. So I have a bunch of tiers. Right. No, but tier 1. But you're making me pick one, so I'm just picking Greek.
Okay. It's easy.
I feel like I'm the most unbiased guy at this table.
I agree.
No offense to you guys.
No arguments.
I'm not a player fan.
I don't disagree.
My Sonics are dead. Okay.
No.
But to me, I mean, you talked about it. We could definitely use body of work in this, but I think it has to be recent body of work. We're not going to talk about what LeBron did when he was 27 because he's 34 years old now. Okay.
Sure.
It's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. Look at man, this guy. We probably wouldn't even have an MVP conversation right now if he wasn't on the Warriors.
True.
I mean, if you look at this guy's metrics right now, you can legit make a case for him, but you can't because like you got Curry. The Warriors aren't even like killing the league, but Kevin Durant as a player puts it out there every single night, and he's the most efficient. He rebounds for his team. He makes the right. People don't understand this about this guy. He's actually a good passer. He makes the right pass. Like he realizes he's getting double. He's not trying to play hero ball like his boy Russell Westbrook. And he'll throw it to fucking Kevin Looney, even though Kevin Looney's going to go and just get rim checked or something like that. But I mean, he makes the right pass, dude. And defensively, he's so much better than people give him credit for. And like, dude, honestly, like I love Greek Freak, but I see a lot of his blocks are just like, for people that don't even see him coming, dude. He's just a fucking 747 coming out of nowhere with his long ass arms and destroying their layup attempt or whatever. But Kevin Durant can, like, I feel like Kevin Durant's like on ball D. Like I don't think he can guard super quick point guards, but super quick point guards, they have to work really hard to fucking do something against this guy. I think KD's defense is really underrated, man. Like, super underrated. Like, he's better than people give him credit for because 1.5 blocks, which is what Giannis has. And I think maybe under a steal a game, Pete, you would know this better than me.
Yeah, 0.8. You're right.
You know, so, dude, the guy turns it up in the playoffs. He's been the Finals MVP the last 2 seasons. He's hit big shots. He does everything all around wise, handles the ball. To me, it's a no-brainer. Kevin Durant's the best player. Greek's got to pay his dues, bro. He's got to pay his dues, man. He hasn't even won a playoff series yet. I don't think he has. Fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure he has not.
Hasn't. You're right.
Pretty sure he has not. So, Greek is super exciting. A lot of dunks. But KD, like Pete will probably mention, the shot chart is just ridiculous. He does it from anywhere on the court. Greek has to get to that hoop, or a lot of times it's not going to be an efficient possession. Or KD can be efficient from anywhere on the floor.
Oh, great points. So, Pete, did you have anything to add? We know
Man, I love that you guys just picked Durant, man. I was hoping to give this speech about Durant. I thought maybe, you'd go there. I wasn't sure about Dan. He does pay respect to KD, so I love it. It's Durant, man. It's obvious he's, I've had him as the best player for probably 6 years. I might be wrong on one, maybe 2 years are arguable, but definitely for the last 4 years, to me, he's been the best. And, I'm a little bit biased, I'll admit, but the shot chart, the defense, the biggest knock on him before was he can't guard 1 through 5 like LeBron. Dude, he guards 1 through 5. You guys see it in the playoffs. He's guarding the center. He's guarding the point guard. He's moving all over. He guards everybody. He does it all. Can hit all the clutch shots. Hit the clutchest shot in LeBron's face. He doesn't care, man. He strives in big moments. He may be weak against the media, but for some reason, it's the total opposite during the game. So I think he's the best player on the planet. I don't think it's close. I really don't, man. And and the biggest thing that he doesn't get the most credit for, all those win share things I told you guys. KD's number 2 in offensive win shares, playing with Curry and Clay.
That's crazy.
And Boogie. I mean, I know Boogie hasn't been there the whole year, but to maintain number 2 in win shares offensively, that's crazy with all those players. So the fact that KD can let everyone else shine and still be number 2 in win shares, only behind Harden, who has the biggest pie chart ever, right? How impressive is that? Because to me, that's going to be the big thing that separates him from LeBron. Because if you look at it with LeBron, right? What the big thing over here is he's trying to maintain his MVP numbers instead of letting these kids develop.
Right.
He should take the back seat. That's what, you see what I'm saying? Instead of trying to average 28 and 8 and 8, he should take the back seat. He should do what Dwayne Wade did when he went to Miami. When Dwayne Wade said, you know what? I'll back off, man. I'll let you take over. I'm not saying let these kids take over the team. But you know what? Why don't you worry about a little more energy on defense and let these kids get some of that offensive, those shots, not care about so much about what your stats look like. And then the biggest credit I give to KD is that he could play with anybody, another MVP, another star, and still be the most efficient, best offensive player on that court. And that's impressive to me. Because you can put him anywhere. He can carry a team by himself, or he can go play with another guy and still shine. It doesn't matter. Whatever system he's in, whatever offense, whatever, play with Westbrook, he's going to be effective. He's going to be an MVP candidate. You can't say that for LeBron. You go put LeBron and play him with a Dwight Howard, a traditional center, that guy's going to kill LeBron's game. He's an inside guy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not saying LeBron's going to go out there and be garbage, but he's not going to be as efficient. You know what I mean? So, KD's number 1. And until I see somebody else kill it in the playoffs, I can't put Greek above LeBron, even though I want to. My eye test is telling me, yeah. So, I mean, right there, I'm with you. Greek is probably above him, but like Dan said, he has to prove something. Hopefully this year he can. If he goes out and shines in the playoffs, Greek's going to be number 2 to me. of what I've seen with LeBron, and he's not gonna be able to prove us wrong because he ain't gonna be in the playoffs. So,
Yeah, no, I like your guys' points on Greek. We got to see him shine. This year's going to be massive for him. You can't get the 1 seed and then go in there and choke and not get yourself at least to the Eastern Conference Finals and probably, at least to the finals for him would be huge. So,
Eastern Conference Finals minimum, right?
Minimum.
Is what he needs.
Yeah, minimum. He
minimum
has
for
to get
him
to the Eastern Conference Finals, to me.
to even be in the conversation, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay.
I agree, or they better start shitting on him like they do my boy Cat.
Right.
No, that's a good point. Guys, that's a great segment. Coming off a snow day last week, dude. This has just been a lot of fun. Jumping with you guys, DZ. As always, man. Appreciate you guys. Jumping in. Appreciate you writing articles and just being part of the group, man. It's been this core of 4 that we have here has been fun. Dougie Fresh, as always, man. Just appreciate all your work, everything you're doing for us, Pete. I love working with you and taking your.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
This is the first time we kind of got in a little debate over, the media at least.
I knew it was
People have been
coming.
complaining about
coming.
us not sparking at all, but at least
that
there
was
was a
fun.
little bit of spark there.
Yeah.
But, if you guys have any takes on this, any listeners, jump in with the LeBron talk. Jump in with the Zion stuff. What's your opinion? Like I said, give Dan's articles a read and let us know. And then this MVP race and then the question that Pete talked about. Obviously, always at limitlessrangepodcast.com, or you can even email us, limitlessrangepod@gmail.com. You can call us 360-356-1699. Basically, with the technology, man, there's no excuses, right? Jump in with the conversation. Give us your opinion. Who's the best in the world? Who's the MVP? Is LeBron making the playoffs? Should Zion play? This is the stuff we love talking about. Don't just watch it on ESPN. Hit us up. Give us your takes. We want to know your opinions. And then, a big thing that I didn't bring in the beginning of the pod is if you're looking for a jersey, if you got a favorite player out there, if you're looking for a shirt, a hat, a favorite team, use our store to go to the NBA store. You can find it limitlessrangepodcast.com/store. And that's going to take you right to the NBA store, man. So buy what you want. Hats, shirts, jerseys. So stand up for your team. Write us in. Buy your favorite, favorite player, favorite jersey, stuff like that. As always, Rip City.